our film. May I first ask if any of you have been to Pudong? Oh, none of you, okay. Oh, one of you, okay. So for most of you, it was maybe a discovery, which is it's very rewarding to hear that our film has been able to unveil some parts of Hong Kong, especially for a foreigner. It's kind of ironic that we came to know a place that's quite remote in a way. Not a lot of people know where it is and what's happening there, and definitely not its history. So we hope to trigger some more interest for the many rural villages that are still in Hong Kong. I'll be happy to answer your questions if you have any. Any questions on why we did this, why it's called Cha Guo? That's what we hear usually.
Why the movie name is Cha Guo?
Okay, yeah. So Cha Guo, we had never heard about Cha Guo before. Guy Bertrand, this friend with whom I made the film, and I, it is something we came across for the first time in Pudong. Popo, this amazing 97-year-old resident, during one of the many visits that we made to her, she would always serve us something. And that one time was her homemade Cha Guo, made with sesame filling. Then later we came across some different kind of Cha Guo on the farm. And then as we were really struggling how to find a title, someone who worked with us suggested Cha Guo. And we started asking around, what does Cha Guo evoke you? What does it mean to you? What do you think of when you hear the word Cha Guo? And everyone came with a very personal and touching story. And all these stories were a bit different because they were very personal, but they all had in common that it was something sweet or savory shared during very special moment and gathering, often between family and friends, special celebration. And it really carries this idea of tradition, and tradition that passed from one generation to the next. We love this idea that the Cha Guo kind of embody all these narratives that we like to show in the film, which is sharing, right? All these people have shared their lives with us, and we're complete strangers to them. They've been extremely generous. Every single one of them has invited us over to their house to serve us something homemade. With Ching, it was, the lady who plays the piano in the church, who's really involved in supporting the elderly community. I can't list the number of things that we came home with from her house or from her garden. Blackberry juice, some kind of flower soup, pear or lemon from her neighbor. Everyone is giving us something. So people also ask, why don't you show Cha Guo in the film? Because that's your title. Well, because when we're eating Cha Guo, we're not filming, right? So it's just like the backstory of this adventure. It's also something that we can pronounce, which is important as a non-Cantonese speaker.
I think Cha Guo will be up here the next session.
Yes. Any other question?
Briefly, if I can have two, if possible.
Yeah.
The first question is around the context around which you started the production, where you're coming from, and why did you want to do it?
Yeah.
I presume that's got something to do with the redevelopment of the area.
Yeah.
Question number two is how did you find all these subjects and how did you approach them?
Okay. Yeah, so I'm a trained landscape architect, but I've moved to Hong Kong 20 years ago from France. And during all my years in Hong Kong, I've kind of reinvented myself in a mixed media artist. And with my background of landscape architecture, my art is all around my surrounding. It's about where I live. I cannot paint just a beautiful picture. It has to be about the city I live in and the people who live in that city. So a large part of this practice is about visiting and exploring. And 20 years is a long time. So my map of Hong Kong has hundreds of dots, which are places that I visited. And as years go by, I'm going further and further, away from Hong Kong Island, which was the most approachable area first. But now I've really spent a lot of time in the rural areas. Why? Because, first of all, I think it's incredible how people have prejudice about Hong Kong, especially in foreign countries. They only think about it as an urban jungle and a financial center and all these cliche images. They really cannot believe when I send them the trailers. So my friends who've never visited me here, they cannot believe this is in Hong Kong. And that's really rewarding to be someone who maybe, opens some different ideas about Hong Kong, and even more rewarding to Hong Kongers. Because many people from Hong Kong tell me that they don't really know Gudong. And I understand, because when I'm back home, I don't explore very much. I'm trapped in my routine, right? The reason I explore is because it's what I do. It's what I do for a living. It's my practice, but also because I totally fell in love with this place. So as I was wandering around this rural village, I came across Gudong by chance. There was not a specific reason. Why it turned out to be a project? Because, and we go back to why Cha Guo, the title, because everyone we came across was so willing to share their story, their work life, their history, their connection with Gudong, where they're coming from, that I really thought, I had never made a film before, that this time it should not be a painting or, mixed media artwork. It should just be filming them with their own voice in their environment. Also, no narration. We didn't think it was right to have our voices tell a story, It's just them telling their own stories. And Gudong is particularly fascinating because, as you mentioned, it's being redeveloped, but also there's a feel of urge of capturing, recording this story, because this particular place is going away, but also the fact that this village, which basically, that part at least of the village, has not changed in almost a century, and that visually it's overlapping with Shenzhen. The contrast is really unbelievable. From a cinematography point of view, it's an artistic point of view, it's really striking. So standing on the rooftop of this soy sauce factory, where they still ferment soybean, 6 months, because they know it's the best way to make the best soy sauce in the world. They don't care about maximizing profit. They do it in the old-fashioned way. They don't compromise that tradition. And you're standing there and you see just 300 meters away the skyline of Shenzhen, silver gleaming glass boxes. It's really unbelievable. I don't know many places in the world where you have this juxtaposition of two worlds so close by. And as you said, the northern metropolis is fast moving. Gudong is the first phase of it, Gudong North. So when we first started, I started visiting Gudong 2 years ago, but we started filming a year ago. Within that year, already so much happened. So much happened. I forgot the other. How we interacted with. Well, really, it was also so spontaneous. I mean, they're like, when are you coming back? Well, next week. And then we shot 65 times in Gudong. We had day 1, day 2, day 3, to day 65. So originally we thought, okay, we're going to make this great little documentary. We had very little money, almost none, and both Guy and I have other practices that are more business-like. So we knew we couldn't dedicate so much time, but we quickly changed our mind. Was like, forget it. We have to do it on the long term, because the only way you can have these heroes share their life with us is building trust, right? And that takes time. It's not about showing up once with camera. But really, all you're seeing in this film is first shot. There's no rehearsal. We don't tell them what to say. And as you may agree with me, a lot of what they're saying is so powerful. It's like philosophy of life, right? It's like the ending quote by Kenny saying, you know what, there's always been progress. If you don't follow progress, you're left behind. You know, it gives me chill every time I say it or I hear it, because it's just so, you know, it's the resilience, the capacity to bounce back. All these are really very, very important things that we wanted to show in the film. More than a documentary about Pudong, it's a documentary about an incredible community. And I think quite representative of this generation of Hong Kong. Very much fighting and, yeah. Any other question? Yeah? No?
Thank you for filming this movie for us. Many things in Hong Kong are vanishing, actually. Do you have another new idea for another movie about Hong Kong? Thank you.
Thank you. Laughing because I never really have an answer to that question, and I'm asked very often. The desire to do that is very much there. Guy and I both share this passion for Hong Kong, and in particular for the people of Hong Kong, and that kind of spirit, right? So we're definitely talking about doing something else. It will definitely have in common to be about a community. It's not going to be about, you know, just natural beauty or a specific topic, but really more about the people. Now, it's not always easy because we speak a little bit of Cantonese and like really bad. So it's not everyone in Hong Kong who will open their arm to us and their door, you know, to share. With the Pudong friends, it's been amazing, and Ching speaks some English, Kenny as well, and obviously we have someone on our team who is totally bilingual, otherwise we wouldn't have been able to do all these interviews. But that kind of moment, you know, where you first interact with the community, when Cha Guo shows with the big camera, sometimes it's not all very, you know, warm and welcoming. So we have some ideas. I hope you can all follow our social media, Cha Guo Film. Not only because it reveals so many other facets of our behind-the-scene experience, because our film is a short film. There's so many, also like how they're transitioning to their new places, right? Or what kind of life they're going to have now. And so if you also feel very touched by their story, you may want to find out more, and you can follow our social media for that, but also for potential new projects. Very much hope so. Thank you.
仲有冇想分享或者唔一定係問題嘅分享？仲有冇？我哋仲可以問多一條問題。如果冇嘅話，我就問下啦。Is there any you can share one of the event or people you impressed most during the filming?
Oh, that would be really mean to ask me to pick a favorite. That's really not a favorite, but I have to say that Kenny, you know, this cool dude with the long hair, is quite a memorable figure. I mean, he's kind of relaxed way to deal with everything, even the most difficult thing to live with, is quite inspiring and mind-blowing. You know, recently he sent me a video shot from his factory through the window with music, full blast. He built his own speaker, by the way, and they're all like people with wigs, and it's really funny. And he was just filming demolition around his factory. And I would think it's kind of sad and traumatic, but he's like, I'm still standing, I'm still there, my factory is still. So it's been really, really, yeah, he remained, for Guy and I, we always joke when we have problem to deal with, and what would Kenny do? because he always bounced back, and his favorite sentence in English is "it doesn't matter." When we say, "Oh, we're so sorry, you have no visibility on future, how come you still don't know when you have to leave your land?" He said, "It doesn't matter." And that's what doesn't matter sentence kind of summarizes his whole life, right? So many times he was copied. He came up with this really simple but actually very complex cement bricks, right? You think it's just a round brick with a hole, but actually he came up with the perfect dosage of cement and water and compression to bear the maximum stress and so on. And of course, shortly after he was copied with some mainland products. And then the government, who is his main client, 80% of his products go to the government. They started buying from the competitors because it was much cheaper, but shortly after, they just came back to Kenny. So he just is like, I don't compromise the quality, they come back to me, it doesn't matter. So I think that's a really good lesson in life, right?
Is he a one-man band?
Actually, he is now. He used to have a few workers, but he had to let them go because obviously this is coming to an end. But it's actually amazing. I mean, right, he tells the story, all this big infrastructure you drive on or under, or
amazing.
His pieces are in there. And he's funny because we repeatedly try to impress him with some, we're doing this collaboration with Apple, and they want to show a film in one of their Apple store, and it's going to be very cool. And we thought he would be really impressed, and he said, "Oh yeah, great, Apple." So actually, he's the one who built the first box for the first Apple computer with fiberglass, because his business was originally fiberglass. And then when we had our film premiere in November, back in November at the Hong Kong Art Center in Wan Chai, after the screening and everything, and all our Cha Guo heroes were there, then he casually said, "Oh, you see that ceiling? Oh, actually, I built it." So he's everywhere. So yeah, quite memorable.
Yes. Thank you. 多謝晒，我哋再一次多謝。
Thank you very much. Thank you. Please tell your friends to come.
Yes, because this is a long commercial movie. You need marketing.
Yeah, we need marketing, and we're a very, very, very small team. So any words you can spread helps a lot.
希望大家如果覺得好睇嘅，就可以介紹下俾啲親戚朋友，因為佢嘅壽命都好在乎大家嘅入座率啊。咁希望大家如果覺得好睇，就幫手宣傳一下，好嘛？多謝大家。導演仍然會喺出邊同大家 chat chat 嘅，如果大家有需要嘅話，可以詳細啲再揾佢問下，或者打卡都可以。好，多謝晒大家。